When a woman stays silent, even though she misses you, it's rarely because she doesn't care. In fact, many times, silence is the exact opposite of indifference. It's proof of her pride battling against her emotions. When feelings start bubbling up, when she feels the urge to call you, to text you, to tell you she misses the sound of your voice, her ego steps in like a gatekeeper and tells her, don't do it. Don't give him that satisfaction. For women, silence can be a weapon, but it's also a shield. It's the shield that protects them from vulnerability, from the possibility of being rejected, from the risk of being seen as the one who needs you more than you need her. This is why many men get confused. They assume that silence means she doesn't care anymore, or worse, that she's moved on. But in reality, silence often means she's battling with herself. On one hand, her emotions are pulling her toward you, reminding her of the moments she felt safe, adored, and connected. On the other, her ego is screaming at her to hold back, to not make the first move, to not give you the sense that you still matter this much. That pride can be incredibly strong, and it keeps her from reaching out even when every part of her heart wants to. Think about how women are taught from a young age. They're told that men should chase, men should lead, men should initiate. So even when she's sitting there missing you, replaying conversations in her head, checking her phone to see if you messaged, she'll keep herself silent because she doesn't want to appear desperate. Her silence is a way of keeping her dignity intact, even if it means suffering in private. It's not that she doesn't feel, it's that she doesn't want to feel like she's losing her sense of control. This is also why silence becomes such a powerful emotional game. She knows that when she withholds her voice, it makes you wonder, it makes you second guess, it makes you think about her more. Silence protects her ego, but it also manipulates your emotions without her even saying a word. That's why many men break during this phase. They get desperate, they call, they text, they pour out feelings. And all of a sudden, she regains the upper hand. Her silence forced him into action while she preserved her pride. But here's the hidden truth most men don't see. Silence hurts her too. She's not immune to the ache of missing someone. She feels it just as strongly, if not more. But her ego convinces her that reaching out first would lower her value, that breaking the silence would mean surrendering her power. So she swallows the urge to call. She deletes the half written text message. She tells herself, if he really cared, he'd reach out. She hides behind that shield, even when her heart aches for connection. This is why, as a man, you can't misinterpret silence as emptiness. You have to understand it as ego protection. When she's quiet, she's not erasing the bond you had. She's trying to guard her pride while hoping you'll be the one to bridge the gap. Her silence doesn't erase her feelings, it just buries them under a layer of self-preservation. So when you're met with silence, recognize it for what it is, not a lack of emotion, but a strategy of ego. And if you can see through that, you won't take it personally or react out of weakness. You'll hold steady because you know that silence doesn't mean she stopped missing you. It simply means she's protecting her pride while fighting against her own heart. Her silence is not her strength, it's her shield. One of the biggest reasons women stay silent even when they miss you is because they want to test your strength. Silence for them becomes a filter. It's their way of seeing whether you're the type of man who crumbles under pressure, loses his composure, or starts chasing the moment you don't get her attention. Women know that emotions drive men just as much as they drive them, but they also know that a man who cannot control himself will never truly earn respect. That's why silence becomes her silent exam. She wants to see how you respond when she withholds communication, affection, or validation. So when a woman pulls back and stays quiet, She's subconsciously asking, will he panic? Will he chase? Or will he remain centered and let me come to him? She wants to feel that you're solid, that you don't lose your balance just because she created some distance. Women crave emotional security, and they find it not in what you say, but in how you behave when she removes herself. If your reaction is to blow up her phone, beg for answers, or demand her attention, you're showing her you're not in control. You're showing her weakness. But if you remain calm, continue living your life, and show no desperation, you're proving that you are grounded. That steadiness makes her attraction grow, even if her pride tries to keep her silent. Think about this. Silence creates discomfort. Most men hate it. They rush to fill it, to fix it, to end the tension. But the man who doesn't react, the one who isn't disturbed by her silence, communicates something powerful. He's not afraid of losing her. That alone can shake her ego, because deep down she expects her silence to make you chase. When it doesn't, she starts to question herself. She starts to wonder, why is he reacting? Why isn't he begging for me? Does he not care as much as I thought? And that questioning makes her emotions rise to the surface even more. Her silence is a test of your masculine energy. A woman doesn't stay quiet because she enjoys pain. She stays quiet because she wants to see if you can carry yourself with confidence when you're not being validated. It's almost like a woman saying, show me if you're a man who needs me to keep him steady, or a man who is steady all on his own. If you can handle her silence without losing your frame, you pass the test. She might never admit it, but she feels a deeper respect for you when you don't let her silence control your behavior. But here's the important part. You can't fake this. If you try to act calm while secretly obsessing, it shows. Women are extremely intuitive, and they pick up on desperation even if you're not saying anything. That's why this is less about strategy and more about mindset. You genuinely have to be okay with her silence. You have to live your life, pursue your goals, focus on your growth, and not let her lack of communication throw you off track. Because the truth is, the man who doesn't depend on her attention will always be the one she wants the most. When she goes silent, she's not just pulling away. She's testing the foundation of who you are. And if you can stand firm, calm, and unbothered, you show her a strength that most men will never have. And that strength, more than any words you could ever say, is what makes her want to break her silence and come back closer. Silence isn't just distance, it's her way of finding out what kind of man you really are. Another reason women stay silent even when they miss you is because of pride and ego. For many women, reaching out first feels like admitting defeat. It feels like exposing vulnerability, as if by saying, I miss you, they're giving you power over them. And while they may crave your presence and think about you constantly, their pride often convinces them that staying quiet is safer than risking rejection or appearing weak. Silence becomes their shield, a way of protecting themselves from the possibility that you don't feel the same. This is one of the paradoxes of female psychology. She may feel the ache of missing you more intensely than you imagine, but at the same time, her ego refuses to let her show it.